Hello, 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 and welcome to Trading Made Easy right here on YouTube. I'm certainly glad that you found yourself here. Today, we're going to be talking about market structure. Though we have this phenomenal trading system called Simplicity and the triple arrows, it's great. It gives us insight. It does some heavy lifting for us. It is really, really effective. It's accurate, right? However, we do not want to get away from structure, because at the end of everything, Christ always respects structure. And with that being said, we want to start paying attention to what Christ is actually doing. Sometimes a drawback with the system is it can create a blind spot, if you will, as a trader, those that's using it. It can create that because we're focused on the dots, right? We're focused on the support and resistance. That's what we're focused on, the indicator. But what I want to encourage you to do is to focus on price and what price is actually doing to determine, consolidation, to determine pivots, to determine support and resistance, because price always respects those structures. Price respects patterns. It respects support and resistance. It respects those things. So we want to know if price is doing any of that. We want to be able to identify that, because we can then use that information as a TP point, right? Where we're going to take our profit, or a stop loss, where we're going to tell the system to stop, because we have understood and we've identified that price is going to hit this area. And so we either want to wait at that area, that price point, to take our profit, right? Or we want to wait above it, depending on the position that we're taking, for our stop loss. And I'm going to just demonstrate that to you really quick. Now, it's not going to be very long because I have to do it in bite sizes, but I want you to start paying attention to structure. And the first thing that we want to do as it relates to structure is to identify support and resistance. We want to identify how low did price go before it stopped, right? And was ushered in a different direction. How high did it go before it stopped and was ushered in a different direction? That's what we want to identify. So we always looking left and we trade right. Left, as I always say, that is our insight as to what happened in the past, right? So what we're going to do first, to make it simple, this is something that I would suggest, and you can drop down to the line chart, right? You can drop down to your line chart, and this is just to show you how things do line up. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify support and resistance. That's what we're going to do. So let me get my line. Now, when we're looking for support and resistance on the line chart, you see these pivot points, these points, right? Okay, so what we're looking for is for areas where the points are generally in the same area, right? So let me give you an example. What I do is I drop my line. I drop my line on a point. Boom. I drop my line on a point. And then what I do is I look to see how many points hit this line, whether it came up as a resistance or it came down as a support. That's the first thing I do, right? That determines, well, it can potentially determine a bona fide support or resistance line. Now, when we're looking for support or resistance, let me move that. I didn't move that. So when we're looking for support and resistance, we're looking for two or more points that hit the line, whether resistance or support. So right here, we have price traveled up, boom, hit that wall, what happened? Pushed it back down. Then it broke through, right? Broke through this way, came back, didn't quite hit it, came down, boom, hit it again, right? Hit it again. And you can go as far back, I try to stay with relative to current price, right? But you can go far back to see how many times did it actually hit, right? And we have another point right here where it hit, okay? Then let's draw another one. Sorry, my system is, let me move it slow because it can get a little temperamental. All right, so let's do another one, okay? So let us, okay, I see double bottoms right here, so I definitely want to put a line right there. Okay, price came down, hit the line, bounced up, hit it again, bounced back up, right? Bounce back up. So this is what? This is support. It hit a support. Now over here, it was resistance. Support became resistance in this area. Price came down, didn't quite make it, came, bust through, came down. It retested this area. See that? It retested the area. And then what did it do? It fell. Okay. And again, let's look and see if we have any more areas. The more it touch those areas, respect those areas, the stronger that area is, right? So slightly a hair, but not quite, but we definitely hit the point right there. Bounced all the way back down, came back up, broke through, and just hovering around this area, right? And then you have this area right here. It definitely touched the area and pushed back up. So you get my point. So I'm gonna drop another one. And this is what you do, right? To identify, what you're actually doing is identifying structure. That's all you're doing, is identifying structure. Look for those areas where they look seemingly close together, like this one here. Okay, bam. So we have two right here, two touches right there. Touch right there, I would go with that. It's close, it's real close, right? It respected that area, okay? And we played around in this area, played around. It broke through though, so not quite right. Right here, kind of touch, came a fraction of a hair, right? Came in the area, went up. Now here's another thing that you want to keep in mind too. Price never moves in exact numbers, right? There are ranges, there's zones. So we always speak and look in terms of zones, and we identify those zones by blocking in the upper and the lower. It's just like consolidation, right? We take the high point of the consolidation, draw our horizontal, do the same for the lower. So now we've just boxed in that area of consolidation. And then what do? We wait for what? A breakout. And it's basically the same thing. So right in here, we hit the line, bounced up, hit the line, bounced up. It broke through here. Then it came back, right? And it pushed back up. Okay. So I'm going to just do one more before I go over to the other chart. Let's do one more. Let's see what we have here. So we got a hit here, right? As what? Resistance, because price is moving up. Right here, we got a hit as support because price was moving down, right? So that same price area though, same price area, same zone, right? And it came back up, hit it, dropped back down. And notice every time it did hit before a breakout, right? It reacted. It reacted. Price always revisits those areas and with the intention of what? Breaking out. So that's what price does. So now what we want to do is we want, and here we go right here. So let's go now to our candlesticks and we will look at, and let me just let you know as well, most of you that's watching this video already know that the line chart shows actual opening and closing of price without the wicks. The wicks simply identify where price wanted to go, but it could not close there, right? So the line chart just eliminates the wick, and now you have a hard opening price and a hard closing price. So that's what you're seeing. So now when we go back to the candlesticks with the wicks, you'll certainly see how this all lines up. And you'll be able to see a little clearer. Where's my glasses? You'll be able to see a little clearer. Now, let's look at the lines. Okay, so right here, what happened? Pivot, boom, drop back. Pivot, right here, boom, drop back, right? That's good. And like I said, you can go as far back. I try to stay relative to price as what's going on right now with price. That's what I try to do. But you can go far back just to see how price respected the line, right? Look at these wicks. Boom, hit the wick, up. Boom, hit the wick, up, right? And then it broke through, it closed, right? And then what happened? It retested the same line and it just played around, didn't break through, and what? Pushed it back down. Price always moves from one structure area to the next with the intentions of what? Breaking those zones. So that's how we know wherever we are in price, we always want to look left and identify those structural areas. Despite, now we ain't talking about the indicators. This is your eye being able to identify those structural areas, because price will visit those areas again. Now, the more price hits a particular area, it weakens that area. It weakens it. Just like you hitting a nail in the wall, as you tap, 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 eventually what happens, you're going to penetrate the wall, right? I like to use the analogy of a big ice pick on a big chunk of ice, right? And you just tapping it, all little ice chips, kind of flying around, but you still got this big block of ice. The more you continue to hit that structure, it's weakening the structure, and eventually it will break through. It's the same thing with price. The more price hits hits a price area, a structural area, it hit right here, pushed up. It hit right here, pushed up. It hit right here, pushed all the way up, came back down and did what? Broke through. Why? Because it weakened that area, that price area, right? And even if you go a little further back, see how many times, because here's the rule of thumb, three or more hits to a particular area, you can expect a breakout really soon, right? So you want to keep those things in mind when you are analyzing price and identifying structure. Go back, look, see how many times did price hit this area and reacted, right? How many times did it hit this area and reacted? And now you're at the same area at this point. If it was 3, 4, 5 times, you can expect a breakout, because that structure is weak now. Is weak. Now, of course, there are things that will alter that. News. Well, news can penetrate and bust it right through, or it can go the opposite way. It can go the opposite way. But these are things outside of that. When you're just looking at pure structure and how price responds, that's what you want to be looking for. 3 or more hits is weakening. You can expect a breakout. Now, I'm not saying it's going to break out on the 4th hit or even the 5th, but you got to be mindful. You got to be mindful that a breakout is coming. Okay, so price right here moved up, hit this line, pushed down, we consolidated, it broke out, right? It broke out and it closed. It broke out, closed. What happened? It came back into this area, pushed up, came back into this area, pushed up. See, this is hits. Think of that ice pick on the ice. You just chipping. These little ice chips, chipping, right? Came back down, you still chipping, right? Push back up. So it's the same thing. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, come on, computer. Come on, computer. See all these breakouts right here? Hitting this area, breaking out, hitting this area, breaking out, hitting the area. It's still reacting, but it's breaking out. What's happening is weakening the structure. So now you're coming down here and you're right here, right? And guess what happened? Reaction, bam, pushed it back down. Then you came back still. This was a strong area, but what happened? Eventually it pushed up and through. And that's basically how price moves, right? So you got to determine it based on where you are in the market at that time, looking left to see what's actually going on. Now, great. We definitely have the benefit of our indicator that really gives us, it magnifies what we already have identified. That's it. It magnifies what we've already identified. And now because you have identified it, you know what you're looking at. Now you can take the indicators and you can really maximize the results of the trade. And as far as your decision, your direction of where you're going, right? It gives you that assurance that, listen, price is going to go here. This is what we may have a reaction though. Let's say you're in this area, right? Let's say you're right here in this area. Okay. You got your little arrow. Let me just kind of work with this arrow here. But you're right here. You're looking left, right? And you've identified, okay, so price reacted in this area here because you've already identified this as a support resistance area, right? Price came up, look at that, bounced right back down. We had some vacillation in this area, right? Price was going up, down, right? And don't be afraid. Slide that chart back so you can see what took place in historically as it relates to that price area. We have some reactions in here, right? This is a strong area where price is not staying above or staying below, right? We have a reaction. So it's safe to conclude. Did I do that? I don't forgot what pair I was on. Was it EJ? I certainly hate when that happens. I don't know what I was on. Was it EJ? I think you all got the gist, but I am so sorry that happened. Was it Ozzy? I'll just be going. I don't even know what. Was it EJ? No, was it EJ? Man, I'm so sorry. But you definitely get the gist. You definitely get the gist. Okay? So even right here, let's go ahead and now I'm gonna go back to the line chart. Oops. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm moving too fast here. So let's go here. Because remember, the line chart gives you the hard close and opening of price without the wicks. Somewhere where I think that things are kind of lining up around the same area. That's what I look for. And you'll get so good at that, look for your double tops and double bottoms because they tend to line up. You just find other areas where it has lined up. And you can do this on your multiple time frames so that you can identify support and resistance on those areas as well. Right? And right in there. Okay. And let's see here. You want to just kind of see where price will hit. We're looking for two or more hits. That is right there. Because what you're going to find when we go back to the candles is the wicks. You're going to find the wicks, and that's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. I'm so sorry that I lost my chart. Yeah, so we went up, came down, hit here, hit there. So let's see here. We have that there, those areas, right? Okay. Yeah, we have a lot. And then when you see a lot of action generally around the same area, drop it there too. See how that perfectly lined up there? Because that typically is some consolidation happening, right? So we came, hit that, up, hit that, up. Okay, so now let's go to our candlesticks. Bam, bam, bam. What are we on? GJ. Okay, just in case. We on GJ, right? Okay, so as you can see, the lines coincide with consolidation or pivots. Here's a pivot. A pivot is basically price shot up or down. So price shot up and it reached a point and just went straight back down without consolidation. Those are pivots, right? Those are pivots. And so you can see how the lines add up with either consolidation, like this is consolidation, or a pivot. This is a pivot. This is a pivot. You see how that lined up? And so this helps you to identify the structure. It helps you to identify the structure. So we have a nice little double top right here, inverted head and shoulders happening, beautiful setup. But look, price hit it, drop, came up, hit it, right, and drop. Reaction. Here we got some consolidation right here. Reaction. See that? See that? And now this is what you would use when you're trading. So now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in our support dots. And I'm going to bring in the support dots for simplicity. Let's bring those in for simplicity. Make that true. Make that true. And you'll see how our support and resistance dots line up with these same areas that you, my friend, identified. That I keep driving that point home because I want you to start looking at structure and not so much the dots, the support and resistance dots. They're great, but they should only be used as a confirmation for what you already identified, right? And so now that's how you really empower yourself with or without an indicator. Now, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong, but not as a replacement of my knowledge. I got to get that first. And now, if this supports what I already know, now I can really maximize it because I can use that as what? Confirmation, confirmation. So look at, we got our support dots right here. Okay, so price always moves from left to right. So we came up, came down to this area. What happened? Reaction, pushed it back up. Push, and it goes from one support area to the next. Support resistance, that's all this is. So you master that and you'll always know where you are and where you are in the market and what price is likely to do, likely, right? Okay, so then we came back down and what happened in this area? It populated this support area right here. It populated the support area. We had action right there, pushed up, came down, it pushed right back up. It didn't sustain, tried to break it, but it couldn't, and it pushed back up. Then what happened? It pushed down, hit that area again, pushed up, hit down, hit that area again, pushed up. So the system identified this support area. But you've already done that. So to have the system confirm what you've already done, what you've already identified, it just gives you that extra assurance that you're looking, you know what you're looking at, you know what you are identifying. Now, the support and resistance dots on the simplicity system are in alignment with the key levels on the Fibonacci. So we know that this is a key level. Now you start putting the pieces together. Before, you didn't use any of that. You just used your eye and identified it. Now we have a system to say, you know what, Jackie, you're absolutely right. You know what, John, you're absolutely right. You know what, David, you're absolutely right. This is a key level. And how about we just go to the fib and let's just see what level is at. Let's just do that. If I can find my Fibonacci. That's what I want you to. I want to empower you with the skill, with or without. With or without. Now, all these lines together did not help, right? But the thinner lines are my fib key levels. The thinner lines are my fib key levels. And that's right above the 78, right? I'm sorry. Okay, that's the support area right there. So we have our 78, and that is, yep, right before the 61. So we broke the 78. So it's basically right there in the middle. So we broke that area, right, the 78. And what are we doing? We're traveling to where? To our golden zone on the Fibonacci, which is the 61.8, the 50, and the 38. But those two are golden areas, and price will meet those areas, right? We just don't know when, but we know that's the direction price is going to go in, and it will hit. And again, we have our system to let us know what the trend direction is, right? We have our system to let us know when we're in momentum of that trend. We have other indications to let us know these things, but when you're able to identify it in your mind, right, then it just allows you to maximize the system even more. So at this point right here in the trade, you would have been in a bullish market, right? Because we have our bearish big arrow here, so we had to be bullish going up, okay? We had to be bullish going up. And so we hit this area, price moves from left to right. We hit this area, you're in a bullish trade, right? You're in a bullish. So you hit this area, and what happened? Price bounced off of it because it's support, just like a ball, bounce that ball, the floor is the support, bounces it back up. That's just what happened here, and it supports your position. You're in a bullish trade right here. So it bounced right back up, and it basically rallied up until the bearish big arrow populated. It's just really that simple. Now we're going to be doing more on structure just so that you can start training your eye, but it's very important that you begin to learn how to do that and master it, and just take time on the chart. Put your hand on the mouse, move the chart back and forth, Go to your chart icon here. You know, drop it, take it from the chart to the line chart, you know, so that you can identify what's actually going on, because it will serve you so much better when you're able to do this with your level of understanding. Okay. So I hope that this was a help for you. We're going to be doing more because I want to empower you with the skill set, and then we use the indicators just as a cherry on top. So if you don't have the system, I certainly recommend that you get the system, because it does make trading so simple and easy. And why do it hard if you can do it easy? And then you can start learning the skill. And that's where I come in to teach you the basics of price movement, price action, support and resistance, how that all ties in. And I do it in a very simple, easy 1, 2, 3 type of method. So the first thing that you want is the system. I have the link inside of the description of this video. Please hit that link, purchase your system. We'll rock and roll. Everything I do with the system, and we'll rock and roll. We'll rock and roll. So first do that. Now, if you want to book a private session, that information is, my calendar is there as well. Let's get together, peel the onion back. Let me show you, give you an opportunity to ask questions. And that way you can have a coach and a mentor that is within arm's reach of you. Though we're geographically separated, but in this world of technology, we're not, right? And I make myself available so that you can ask questions. That's one thing that I didn't have, and there's no fault to anybody else, because I understand everybody is busy, right? I get it. But one thing that I didn't have, and a lot of traders don't have, is that person that they can pick up the phone, or they can message, or they can audio message, they can DM, and that person responds to them like anytime, right? That's what I provide. So book a session so that you can get that type of mentorship ongoing, right? Ongoing. Anyway, book the session. You'll get more information about that. Join our private Facebook group as well. You absolutely want to stay connected with information and resources. But I will tell you this, you must answer the 2 simple yes or no questions. If you don't answer the 2 simple yes or no questions, you will not be permitted inside of the group. We're very serious about the people that we are aligning ourselves with and that we want close to us. You have to be willing and want to know how to do this, right? You got to be serious about the deal. And so answer the 2 questions. It's simple, yes or no, and you'll be in. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.